Saturday, April 14th, 2018, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone that has been donating to the channel. Censorship is growing for people who think differently, who do not toe the official government line these days, be it in the US or in the UK or in Europe. Hopefully I'll be able to keep doing this for as long as possible. Billy over there is happy as well. A lot of people liked his mug. As for the design of the shirt that's on sale, I've got contacted by one of the viewers who's a graphic designer, and he's going to work on a new design. The design that we've got now was done by me, and I'm not an artist or a designer. The campaign for the t-shirt will end in about 9 days, so we'll bring up new designs, hopefully more to people's likings. Yeah, what's the big story today? Well, it's difficult not to talk about it, and I've got the Zero Hedge headline here. Trump orders military strikes in Syria. 3 waves of airstrikes launched. And I'm not going to even go into the background to this. I'm sure a lot of you are aware of what's been happening. But what I'm going to focus on is the petrodollar and the petroyuan. If you've been watching my videos for a long time, you know that I've made quite a few videos about the petrodollar and China and how there'll be a challenge to the petrodollar with their new yuan futures contract in Shanghai, which actually started trading on March 26th. And I've made quite a few videos. I'll put them up in the cards. One that I did, when was it? Well, just about a month ago, March 17th, it was entitled, What March 26, 2018 Will Mean to the Petrodollar. So it didn't take long for things to escalate after this contract came online on March 26. And what do I mean by that? The escalation? Well, it's a challenge to the dollar because China, first of all, is the biggest consumer of oil now on the planet. And then you have to look at who's the biggest seller of oil to China, and that is Russia. I have an article here from January 2017 from Reuters.com. And Reuters is, of course, mainstream. But it says, Russia beats Saudi Arabia as China's top crude oil supplier in 2016. And then there was also the new pipeline that was completed from Russia to China the beginning of this year, so that Russia can sell its oil straight to China. They'll get paid in yuan. They'll probably also use that yuan for other transactions. They'll probably convert those yuan into gold. But the point is that Russia will not need dollars to do that. So I'm not surprised that we've had this escalation against Syria. And you might ask, what's that got to do with Russia? Well, Russia is helped the Syrian regime basically defeat ISIS and other terrorists. And up until 10 days, 2 weeks ago, they'd helped them successfully get rid of these people. The war was almost finishing. The Russians said they were going to withdraw their troops eventually. Even President Trump said, I think about 10 days ago, that he was going to withdraw troops very soon from Syria. And now we know what's happened. I personally think it just goes to show you challenge the petrodollar. That's what they do to you. But at the moment, things haven't, how can I say, escalated yet. You read the article here. It says the Zero Hedge article, I mean, and it says around 9 p.m. Eastern time on Friday, April the 13th, the US, UK, and France launched attack on Syrian regime targets. Strikes targeted regime bases and chemical weapon production facilities in Damascus and Homs. There are probably chemical weapon production facilities that the rebels had, probably, that the US and the UK financed. It's just ridiculous. The strikes consisted of 3 waves of attacks and are now complete. Russia was not pre-notified about tonight's kinetic activity. And the key comment here is regime and Russia. Regime, they mean Assad. Regime and Russia condemn what they call a flagrant violation, but have not retaliated so far. And I listened to the Richie Allen show yesterday, and he interviewed Paul Craig Roberts, who was the Undersecretary of the Treasury under the Reagan presidency. And Paul Craig Roberts said if the Russians take this attack and do not retaliate, it's gonna be bad in the future, because these people, the deep state, whoever you want to call them, these warmongers, they're gonna keep going after Russia and Russia's interest. And why is Syria so important to Russia? Well, Russia has the only warm water port. Well, one of the two. They've got Crimea now, but Crimea is in the Black Sea. Russia's got a warm water port in the Mediterranean in Syria. And you probably all know that Qatar wanted to build a pipeline through Syria, but it's the Russians and probably the Iranians that are going to build a pipeline, or were planning to build a pipeline through Syria. And do you think and sell gas or oil to Europe? So do you think that would be in dollars? I don't think so. They probably get paid in euros. And then you have China paying for their oil in yuan. And even though some people say, oh, the US doesn't need to import oil anymore, but that's not the point. The point is that dollars won't be needed for world trade. I think that's what it's all about. And why do I think China might get involved? Well, because there's something called the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. And I'll talk a little bit about this organization. As here, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization is a Eurasian political, economic, and security organization. This creation of this was announced on 15th of June 2001 in Shanghai, China, by the leaders of China, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization Charter was signed in June 2002 and entered into force on 19 September 2003. So basically, I would say this is the defense arm of the One Belt, One Road project. And if one of their members is attacked or gets into problem or war, I wouldn't be surprised if other members would get involved. So that's what I'm saying here. If we provoke Russia with these attacks and Russia retaliates and something, a war develops, a major conflagration, China will be behind Russia. That's my opinion. Activities. Over the past few years, the organization's activities have expanded to include increased military cooperation, intelligence sharing, and counterterrorism. There have been a number of SCO joint military exercises as well. So there you have it. It's kind of like a Eurasian answer to NATO. So that's what's worrying, you see. Yesterday, someone sent me a link to a tweet, and it was General Shaw. He was the commander of the British Army during the war in Iraq, the second war in Iraq, and he was being interviewed by Sky News, And he actually started saying, you know, it's very strange that Assad would use chemical weapons, seeing that the American military analyst had said that the war was finished, that Assad had won, and he also said that President Trump said he was going to leave soon. And then they cut him off. Sky News cut him off. Unfortunately, that's what happens in times of war. We don't have a war so far. These two attacks hasn't been anything, but we need to be prepared for that. And censorship is a huge thing that happens during times of war. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. Yeah, and make sure you share it if you have access to several social media platforms. Share it with all of them, not just one, so we can get some more viewership and more interest. And you can also follow me on steemit.com or DTube, which basically the same, and on Twitter. And I'll talk to you later. Take care.